So the put function, syntax is the first argument is file and adapter name, that is file, and then second argument is directory where you want to place the file. So and then third argument is what is the data. Generally, whenever you use put function or get function, db lookup, db query, then run function, we have to use the valid, so that if it is failing to pull the file or call the run map, it will show the fail function, whatever we pass it in the we inside the fail function. So that it will be easy to handle. So this is one of the handling functionality. If fail to write directly, it will show the what is the message to while placing the file, something like adapter not found file, not that kind of errors it will show. So similarly, for get first argument is that adapter name, that is file, and it will be having only second argument is the file name to which you have to read the content. That is the get functionality. Get function. So we copy paste in directory. Now I'm going to add only output card. I'm not going to add any input card. Previously we saw only input card, right? So the map
Yeah.
only either input cards or output cards also. It's not necessary to have both input cards and output cards. So in this case, just whenever it runs the map, it has to read the some file content. So just let me click any one file .txt. It is something output.txt. So we have to, what is the function? Syntax is get first argument is adapter name, that is called file, then second
File.
file. So the second entire along with the directory. So the file will be present in the same directory where the map is present. Then we know it in the directory. Otherwise, we have to give the directory also. Now the file is present in the different directory. So we have to give the full path. So whenever we use the get function, we have to use the syntax, valid, to handle the error. So if there is any error while getting the file, it will go to second argument. So the second argument of valid is fail function. So fail it to retrieve. So you have to put it in the double quotes. Fail to retrieve to ask the what is the problem. So last error code will show the what is the error code by retrieving data. The last error message. Okay. So now
Okay.
we have completed successfully. So first let me show you what is the content in output.txt. So this is output map with the content. So you see here this is our output. I have given out.txt. So it has read the file content of output.txt. So this is mapped. Okay,
Okay.
clear, right? Clear.
What is the map? Okay. Output. Get will get the file, right?
I mean, from that it will read that file content. It will get that file and it has to get means it will read, right? Put means
Yeah, agree. Yeah, read then what it is, right?
it is mapping to this field wherever we are mapping. Now see the output card is written to out.txt. So out.txt content is now out2.txt.
Okay, got it. Yeah, got it. Yeah.
So it is
Output out 2.2.
what is happening. This gets
Okay, out to.
getting the
Yeah, got it.
content
Yeah,
out2.txt.
yeah, out to.
Okay.
Yeah, out to.
So now we have completed daytime error handling external interfaces. Then we'll go for single functions. Okay. So this is clone. Clone will create the specified number of functions of some object. So if we pass something in the clone function, and if you write something, suppose if you write 5 times, so that it will create the 5 number of objects. Suppose if we pass this clone function in the functional map, okay, suppose that functional map execute n number of times, that means
Okay.
likely is n number of times. And suppose if we pass the clone of 5 means that function map will execute 5 times.
Okay.
I'll give you an example. In very rare cases, we'll get the requirement something like input is 200 character length. You have to concatenate. I mean, you have to create the output for every 50 characters. Suppose some field is there, some group is there in the output. You have to create the group for every 50 characters length that field. So in that case, because the input is occurring only one time, correct?
Okay.
What out we have to repeat the function for 5 times, right?
Okay.
And that you don't know how many number of times you have to repeat. That is the main question here. You don't know how many number of times it has to, because input might come 200, 300, 100, 50 also might come.
Okay.
So in that case, it is very difficult to add the indexes at the output side. We don't know how many indexes we have to add. If you add the index first, then it will cause problem. We don't know how many number. It might be 10, 15 also. Correct.
Okay.
So in that case,
Yeah.
if you write the function map and pass the clone function saying that how many number of times, it will exactly execute as required.
Okay.
So that is the clone to create the specified number of objects. Let's say the default we haven't used. Basically, it returns the value assigned as the default value was defined. Usually used within either function. Even I think in the deep, suppose this is basically used in the either function. So either will use something like zip code. Suppose the value is there, it will populate zip code. Suppose the next will use another zip code too. If the value is there for zip code, it will populate. Suppose Everything is evaluated to null.
Okay.
Then we copy default of zip code. So default of zip code, I think maybe a default of zip code. What is it? If the first argument evaluates a value other than the value is if the first evaluates student the default value for zip code used. Example default. This example is a default default function used for heap is into an expression. The default value of default value is the default. But we don't have any setting right to define.
But it is not used normally, right?
Just I'm checking it. So one thing is we have to define a value so that if there is no value, it will populate default value. Just
Okay.
have to we are just getting where we have to define that free because in the type key we don't have anything to define the free default. So the meaning is if all arguments in the either is they are evaluated to none, then the last argument they have given default of zip code. The meaning is
Okay.
will populate the default value of zip code. My question now is where we have to define the default value.
Okay. Okay. Got it.
I'll try to today. I'll try to go through it and tell you. Now we will see what is clone function and echoing handling will be used while calling the run map.
Run method.
Format won't be. It's what is the use of this? Returns the type object that results from replacing the syntax of the input type with the syntax of the output type. Syntax means it's like it won't be used mostly.
Is used mostly?
No, it won't be used.
No, it won't be.
Yes, it won't be used. Actually, the reformat, what it will do, it's basically to convert the data from input to output. So how it works means, suppose if input is group and output is group, and it will try to match the data between items. Okay.
Okay.
Suppose if your input is delimited, output is also delimited, but delimited value is different in the output. But still it will populate the output delimited. Only thing is it has to match. There should be correlation between input structure and output structure. Then it will try to map it when you use the reformat. And suppose if your input is group, output is item, then it will just map the all group content to the item. Generally, what we'll use either series to text or text function or package function, right?
Okay.
So just here they are using the reformat. It won't be used. It won't be used. Only clone function is the echoing function. Echoing function we saw already is the run map function. We'll use it and we'll see clone.
Okay.
I'll tell the requirement and I will explain you where. Default also
Okay.
won't use, but it might be used in some of the cases and in your call, but I never used it so far.
Okay.
But I try to get this because it is one of useful function only when I go through the this thing. Description. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
we'll
Yeah.
go on. So suppose assume that we have data for. I'll take only one field. In typically in generally it will be complex type is only. But I'll as an example I'll take one field. Okay now. So
Okay.
the data for that field might be any length. Something like it might come 10, it might be 20, 30 or 15, 35 like that. But in output,
Mm-hmm.
okay, in output, okay, output was, okay, how can we choose? Okay, okay, in output, I have a group. Okay, that group is having two fields delimited with. So
Okay.
that field, the first field, that group has to be created for every 50 length of characters. Okay, that group is having two values. One is qualifier, then second is value. That value is there, right? This value has to be repeated for every 10 characters length. That means suppose if the input is having 50 length, so it should repeat 5 times. Qualifier value, qualifier value, qualifier value, qualifier value. Suppose the length is 10 or less than 10, it should repeat only once. Qualifier and then value. Suppose if the length is 12, it should repeat 2 times. First time qualifier 10 length, second time qualifier 2 length. So this is the requirement. Like this, we will get very rarely. For maybe for out of 10 maps, 20 maps, we'll get one map like this kind of requirement.
Okay.
You got the understand requirement here, how we should. Input is
Yeah.
any kind of length, but output group we have to create for specific length. So how can we do things? So you got the requirement or you have any doubt here?
Yeah, still like, can you again go through?
Okay, the input is something like don't know how much of length it will come. It
Yeah, that is correct.
might
Okay.
come 20, it might come 30, it might come 12, it might come 8, it might come 5. 5.
Yeah.
But the output is it is having like this. It is having group X occurrence and it is having two fields delimited.
Okay.
This is S occurrence.
A
Now
second. Okay.
the requirement is I have to map this group for I'm mapping here the input field and
Okay. Mm-hmm.
qualifier is always hard coded like using AN. Now
Okay.
this value accept the target system will accept only 10 characters length maximum. So
Okay.
what they the requirement what they will tell is for this input field if the for every 10 repeated this group for every 10 characters because this value the maximum length it will accept 10 only. They don't want to miss any data. This can be like description. They don't want to miss any description. They want all this mapping, but at a time only 10 characters. So what should we do? Suppose if it is 50 characters, we have to create 5 times, every time 10 characters.
Okay.
AL in 10 characters, again AL 10 characters, again AL 10 characters, like that.
Okay. Okay.
Clear?
Yeah.
So, if we don't have the clone function, what is the solution? Think, logically, don't forget about WTX. Any idea?
No.
No?
No.
Okay. Suppose, know the length of the input field, suppose 50.
Mm-hmm.
So that you can do the calculation So 10, I mean 50 by 10, so that 5 times it has to repeat like that. Suppose if it is 12, it is 12 by 10. So it is 1.2. So 1.2 means it has to, like, decimals has to be considered one time. So you can, we have to, it will assume that two times. So what you can do, you can do the indexes. But the thing is, every time we add index is mapping development. You can do only one time development. But every time different, so you can't add the index. So one way is you have to create the functional map. So while creating the functional map, the clone function will decide how many number of times it has to repeat. So that for that calculation we will use 10 by, I mean total length of the input by 10. So that suppose the total length is 50, 50 by 10 times. So that function map will execute 5 times. Correct.
Okay, yeah.
So if it is 12, 12 by 10, 1.2. So we have to round it to, I mean, we have to round it to 1 and then plus 1. Because one, I mean, 1.2, because it has to repeat two times. Because for first 10 times, I mean, first 10 times and remaining 2 for 1. But then when you do the division, it will give 1.2. So whenever decimal places come, you have to return. I mean, you have to loop it for one more time.
Okay.
So we have for that one. I have not written the word. This is we have modulus mod. That means it will give two. Uh, the modulus calculated by in integer portion of the it will return the this part. Suppose if we divide by modulus 3 comma 2 means 3 by 2, it will divide, it will return the integer part. So the actual value of 3 by 2 is 1.11, right?
Yeah.
Return the only modulus 1. It won't give the quotient value. That means point after point.
Yeah.
Correct. So we have
Yes.
to use the modulus here. Why? Because
It
suppose,
will round it.
yeah, 50 comma 10 will give, what will it will return? It will return 5.
5.
Suppose if we give 12 comma 10, what it will return? 12 comma 10.
1 point.
Oh, no, it will return only modulus, that means only,
1, 1.
so it will return 1.
Mm-hmm.
Correct. So
Yeah.
no, I think I am telling differently. Okay, we will see. So we'll create the type key first. Input will take as a one field blob. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
So this is example for echo. No, sorry, that is the function. Clone. So this is our structure. So it just one group which is having qualifier and value. So it will happen multiple times. Let me change the property. So this is our input. The length for this might be anything, but we have to create this functional map for every 10 characters length. So for that, what is our calculation? We have clone function. Suppose, okay, first we'll create hard coded f create function map something, right? Function. So we'll pass in1. So what will happen now? If you write like this, what will happen? Sony? Number of times it will create?
This is a full. Okay.
This functional map, how many times will get executed?
One time, right?
One time, correct. But how many times you want? Suppose the length is t. 5 times, right?
Yeah, 5 times.
So one way is to add the index, but we don't know how it might be tomorrow 10, 100 also. So we have to use the in1, correct? Then
Yeah.
we have to, here the deciding factor is how many number of times. We can't do the hard coding here. Why? Because it gets length changes. So there is a function called size. We decide the total length of the input, whatever we are giving. Divide by 10. Correct?
Yeah.
So what it will return? If the length is 50, it will return 5.
5.
We are dividing. This is the mathematical symbol.
Yeah, yeah.
But if we, if we get the this one integer, decimal 1.2 like that. If it give the one
Mod.
clone won't take, right? Because we have to specify the integer. So we have function truncate. So truncate will give +1. So that suppose if there is a date, okay, we have to pass one more time. Okay, suppose if the suppose is okay, we have to pass one more argument here. I'll tell you what is that. So here functional map is getting executed. Yeah, we have to pass.
Yeah. Yeah.
What is that? Here itself we will do the calculation. So okay, I think better to first go through the function. We have to use the mid function here. The mid function functionality is mid of in1, comma, for every time. Okay, step next time. So I tell 1 minute. I'll tell what is the function. I'll explain this too. Okay. The functionality of mid is it will accept three arguments. First one is data. Second argument is position. From which position? The third argument is how much of length you want.
Okay.
Suppose if we give mid of some input data, if we give the second argument is 10, third argument is 20, that means from 10th character it will return the 20 characters length. So it is
Okay.
like substring to fetch the substring of your input data. So
Okay.
first argument is the data, the second argument is from which position you want the data, third argument is how much of length you want.
Okay.
So actually I told wrong here. Mod function will return the quotient part. That means suppose if we have 12 by not 12, take 15. So I mean I don't, 15.
It's fine.
Huh?
It's okay. No, it's okay.
No,
Mod.
I don't know that it's mathematics. What is that? Suppose if we
Yeah, it's fine.
if you
Because
divide
the Wednesday.
7 by
Yeah.
2, so 2 3 what I meant to say is here it will return the remaining the decimal places. Okay, I'll show.
If we take the example, then only like
Yeah.
what it will return.
Yes, we have to. Okay, we'll see that later. Than example.
Yeah.
So here 7 by 2. 7 by 2 means it won't actually what I in the previous meaning I told 3, right? It won't return.
Yeah.
It will return 1 because 7 by 2 means 2 into 3 6. But still.
Yeah, actually, I think it will return the remainder. I think.
Yeah, correct. The word is reminder. It will return the reminder.
Yeah.
Oh, here it's the return. Yeah, reminder. The word is reminder. I know. Okay. So now what we have? Yeah, mid function. So mid function will extract the specified character from the text item. It's basically to extract. I mean to extract the substring. So this is the source text position to start search. I mean from where it has to take the data and then how many number of characters. So if it is
it will return substring.
Yeah, substring ABC 1 2 3 5 comma 3. That means from 50 bytes from 50 characters. So what is
Yeah.
2 and total length 3. But after 2 we have only 2 characters.
2.
So that it will return the 2 characters.
Okay.
Here from 7 1, but total length itself is 6. There is no 7th character, so that it will return none.
Yeah. Okay.
So that is the meaning of mid function. What I did here is mid of data. I'm doing some calculation here. 10 into index of dollar minus 1. Index of dollar means for every time it will return 1 2 3 like that. Correct?
Yeah.
So first time what will happen? 1 minus 1 0. 10 into 0 0.
0
plus 1. So that means
1.
from first byte to 10 length. Then second time index of dollar 2.
1.
2 minus 1
1. 10.
10 into 1 10 plus 1. So from 11th position to next to 10 bytes. So here itself I am doing the calculation. So first to 10 bytes, second time 11th byte to 10. That what will happen third time? Index of dollar will become 3. And here putting the bracket. So what will happen? First 3 minus 1 2.
2.
And then 10 into 2. 10 into 2. What will happen? 20. 20 plus 1, 21. So that the third time it will execute from 21 to next. So it will be like that. And because of clone function, this functional map will execute number of times. So what is the calculation? Size of input by 10. So suppose if it is 50 by 10, 5. Concatenative will return 5 plus 1. Why? Because if there is any decimal places, suppose if it is 1.2, suppose it is 12 by 10, it will return 1.2, but we are getting truncated to 1. So this function map has to execute 2 times. So in order to have one more, I'm giving +1. So suppose your doubt might be here. Suppose if it is 50, this function map will execute 6 times, right?
Yes.
But here mid function is there, right? This will evaluate to none for 6th time. Why? Because there won't be
Yeah.
any data for 6th time. So this function
Yes.
map will not execute. If you want here clear calculation, you have to write the if else condition, like if of mod equals to 0, we will give size of 10. Otherwise, but in order to avoid all if else conditions, you can do like this calculation. This is the most efficient way of doing coding here.
Okay.
You got it. Suppose
Yeah.
only input is 50, it will return the function. As per this rule, second argument function map should execute 6th time. But
16.
because of this third argument, this function map won't execute 6th time. Why? Because 6th time index of 6. It will give it will 6, right? 6 minus 1, 5. 10 into 5, 50. 50 plus
50.
1, 51. So this
Mm.
meaning is extract the data from 51 to next 10 bytes. But there is no data. So what it will return? It will return none. Correct.
Mm.
So this
Yes.
function map won't execute.
Okay.
Suppose
Mm.
if it is 12 characters. 12 characters means 12 by 10, 1.
1,
But we are truncating. So it will return 1 plus 1, 2.
2,
Correct.
2.
So
Yeah.
first time it will return 10.
10.
Second time what will happen? 2 minus 2
Nothing.
up left
None.
position to 10. But there is data for only 2 characters. So
2 characters.
execute and it will return the 2 characters.
None. Okay.
So that's why I have given here +1 in the second argument.
Okay.
Now let me go to function map with that. So we have to, what is the third argument? Third argument is also data. So edit, you can pass any text item because third argument is one of the text field, right?
Yes.
So you can pass anything. So now we have where we have actual data in the third field. Here we are doing like calculation third field, third argument. So I am mapping
Mm.
third argument, and my first argument is hard coded value qualifier something HL. So this is the mapping for this requirement. Now build it. Argument 2 for FK function doesn't matter. I think cartridge. What is cartridge? Okay. We haven't closed the packet here. Clone now. Truncate. Okay. Yes.
How it is given 3 input card?
Pardon?
3 input card is this F create function.
Yeah, first input card is actual data. Second input card is how it will deciding factor for how many number of times this function map should execute.
That is because of clone it is creating two input card extra.
No. We have totally 3 input cards right here. This is first actual data.
Yeah.
Second one also will return the data, some data. So we have to use the same.
But physically one, right? With only one input card, right?
Physically, but we okay. That means physically one, but we are copy pasting the same input card.
Can you click on that input card function, man?
Yes.
No, input card.
Where?
Input function F create.
Here.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have 3, right?
Yes. Now, what is your question?
No, like you had created 3 input card, right?
Yes. So the functional map is also having 3 input card. See,
Yeah, I got it. Yeah. Got it.
you have any question here or clear?
No, it's fine. Because I didn't see like now it's 3 input. Yeah.
Okay. See, now it is building successfully. The previous error is I haven't closed the clone properly. I put the bracket here. Then after that I put the
Okay.
it's not closed. Now I pull the map and so now let me take some input. So first I will take some so so what is the length here? Total 35. So it has to create the output for 4 times.
4 times.
First 10, 10, 10, next last time 5.
Yeah.
Completed successfully. Clone out. This is our output. It's creating only 3 times. So it is creating 3 times.
Okay, 4 3. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, mine is 34. See, here 10,
10, 11,
10, 10, 20.
12. Till DL it came, right?
Yeah, it's wait until clear it. So I think some calculation problem. We'll see what is it. Okay, first it is truncating first time. You see, it is starting from ready. So first bogus in what is the length? It's truncating first 9. Clear?
Yeah. It started with 0, I think, right? Then?
Yeah, it should start with what is happening. So index of dollar first time. Index of
1 minus 1, 0. 0 to
no. Here bracket is not correct.
yeah.
Index of
Okay.
dollar I am closing here itself, but
Okay.
it should be index of dollar minus 1.
Yeah, now it is.
Then yeah. Now we should because it will take the precedence when the bracket is there.
Okay.
Now it should see. Now it's correct. Bogasena, Reddy, Chennai, so
Yeah.
Bangalore. So here 10, 10, 10, last time remaining 4 characters.
Okay.
This so suppose if we give exactly 30. Now it is 34, 2, 3. Here, right? Yeah. Now we should exactly create the 3 characters. Only 3 records. See, only 3 times exactly. Even though but as per this clone function, it should repeat for 4 times. Why? Because 30 by 10, 3. 3 plus 1, 4. Correct.
Okay.
But why?
Yeah.
But here for third function, it will return the null because as per this rule, it has to fetch from 31st character to next to 10. But there is no data, so the mid function will return the null. Only here plus 1 is for I mean if it is like 12, 32. If the modulus is not 0, we are doing the plus 1 here to run this function of one more time for remaining characters. So modulus
Okay.
return 0 when it is like 10, 20. Multiplies of 10, it will return the 0. But if it is not multiplies of 10, it's like 12, 22, 34 like that. We have to repeat one more time. So in order to have that, I'm truncating and doing the plus 1, and I'm taking care of this thing here, mid function. So that mid function
Okay.
return the none whenever there is no value.
Okay.
You clear this rule?
Yeah.
It is one of the most, complex requirement.
Okay. Yeah.
So next we'll so go for insert function. We'll see deep. It won't be used most, but I'll try to run the some examples maybe if I get time today. Okay.
Yeah.
So echoing handling both are interchangeable. We'll use in run function. Echoing is for generally we'll use handling will be for if the data is more volume. This is the efficient way of using handling, like more than
Yeah.
100 kilobytes. Then inspection. It's like if condition. Okay. These are infection function. Absent is already said. It's like opposite of present. It will
Present.
whether data is present or not. If the if we have present function and absent function here present. If the data is present, it will return true. If the data is absent, it will return true. It is opposite of present. Present and absent.
Okay.
Then contains error we already saw. It will return if whether it is having contains error. If the error is there, it will return the true. We saw right in the error handling function. Again, it is
Okay.
contains error. It is there in error handling contains error. Same function.
Yeah. Okay. It's repeating twice, right?
Pardon?
It's repeating twice.
No,
It is repeating twice.
yeah. Some functions they would have given both under two categories. Then size function. It will return the integer specifying the size of the input item, whatever we give it size.
Yeah.
It will return the an integer representing the size of specific exclusion of any pad character. If there is any padding character at the end, it won't return the size for that padding character. It will return the only for the data. Okay.
Okay.
Then is alpha. Is alpha will check if we give some item, it will check only whether only alphabetical characters are there. If suppose if it is having any special character or numbers, it will return false. If it is having only alphabet, then leaving your morning. 1 minute soon.
Yeah.
After morning after evening. So is alpha function will verify the input object whether it is having only alphabetical characters. If it is having only alphabet, it will return true. Otherwise, it will return false.
For some.
And is error also is it's like if there contains error, is error both are same. If it is error, it returns true. Then is lower. Is lower will return true if all the characters are lower characters, lowercase letters, lowercase alphabets. Test object
Okay.
contains all lowercase alphabets. Is number
Mhm.
will return true if it is number. Is upper
Okay.
if it is all alphabet, all characters are uppercase, it will return true. Very late. It by name itself you know right. Is
Yeah.
upper
Yeah. Mm.
then member. So this is one. This is again to be used mostly.
What is the
It is the mostly used function member function. Yeah. What is your question?
what is that? Remember
Yeah.
what it is doing?
Yeah. Suppose we have one field. But the data for that field we have to check like this. If the field is AB or BC or CD or EF like that, there are some n values. Suppose we have to. The rule is like this. If that field is AB or BC or CD or something like that, 10 values we have to check. So how will you write the rule? If that field equals to AB, again we have to write R condition. Again we have to write if condition. If
Yeah. Also.
that
Yeah.
is the right if input equals to AB. We can't write comma BC here, right? Using it like
Yeah. Yeah.
so what
Yeah.
we have to write? We have to write R condition. Again, we have to write if input equals to BC. Like that, we have
Mm-hmm.
to write if condition 10 times. If the 10 values.
Okay. Yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
to avoid that if condition, what we can do like this: member of input. So the value for input belongs to either AB, BC, CD. Like that, we'll give all the values for this menu. If then we'll give only one time here. If one time if. So if this input is member of input, that means the value for input if the belongs to either A, B, B, C, C, D, yes, it will return the true. Member function will return the true or false.
Okay.
So instead of writing 10 times, we will use the member function. Member function of single object, and then we will do the all values literals here inside the braces. Instead of writing 10 times, we'll use the member function like this. You understood this now?
Yeah.
How we will write?
Yeah.
Basically, member function will return that true or false is such a series looking for specified object in the series. If any object in the series matches the specified object, member returns true. So we will return the input data and we will return the values here. If the value is found in this object, it will return true. If none of the values are matching, it will return false.
Okay.
Suppose we are writing 10 values, but the data for this data is coming something XXX, then it will return the false. Suppose the value for this data is one of the data, whatever we value, then it will return true.
Okay.
That is the member function. So so suppose if we have two values, only A, B or B, C, it is recommended to use the if condition. Suppose if it is more than 2, then use the member function.
Okay.
So suppose the rule is like this: if the input is A, B or B, C, then you don't need to use the member function. You can go ahead with using if condition only. If A, B or B, C, if A, B or if B, C. Suppose if it is 3, A, B, B, C, C, D, go ahead and do the member function.
Yes. Okay.
So that is the member function. Not, it's like opposite. So suppose if we are giving if present, it returns the true, right? Then if it,
Okay, not equal.
it will opposite. That's it. Not means whatever it returns, it will return false. If it is written false, false means true, like that.
Okay.
Then R condition. R condition, whatever, it's like again, instead of the symbol, we can use the R. If,
So both way we can use.
yeah, alphabets. Then offset when use partition, present visa, then valid below.
Yeah. Partition. Okay. But
Partition also won't be. This is basically used for if the input type is partitioning. Just to see the okay. Suppose if the input is partition like two groups. Suppose if we given here partition enter partitioned object, and suppose we want to check the data is present or not. Okay. Let me show you. Suppose this is a group. Okay. This is something like yes, we saw right item. Item is partitioned as date and text. Previous examples.
yeah.
So now here we will use a partitioned item. That means entire whole thing partitioned item. Then that item is having date and text two sub items. Then
Yeah.
suppose if we give the date sub item here, suppose the data is belongs to the date item, it will return the true. Suppose the data is belongs to text, it will return the false. It will return true or false.
Okay.
See the example. But we won't use this function. Okay, here. Okay, here. Yeah. Here okay, assume the transaction has been partitioned into three partition subtypes. Here three subtypes: invoice, order, remittance. Then what is this? The following rule: transaction. So this is the partitioned object, partition group, transaction. Then they have given the invoice. So under transaction, three sub items are invoice, order, remittance.
Yeah.
So if the data is belongs to invoice, it returns true. Otherwise, it returns false.
Okay.
It is just checking data is belongs to invoice or not. That is the meaning of partition. But we won't use this. So mostly used functions in this here are size function, member function. Member is the most frequently used function. Member, size, and valid.
Okay.
Present, absent, anyway it's common.
Okay.
So valid we already saw. We'll see member, and size also we saw. It will basically it will return the size, and remaining you can
Yeah.
do exercise.
Yeah, it's alpha. Yeah, just a boolean. Yeah.
These under is very simple.
Just boolean. Okay.
We'll see then again see here logical. We'll use either function. We'll see the either. Then when will be used in the this thing component rules. We already saw that when. And if you want, we'll see. I'll tell you once again. And again, is lower, is upper already the same functions meaning, and not also same. If already we saw. So we'll see
Okay.
the most function use function is here either only.
All is not yes. All.
All also it won't be used. It's basically it's evaluate series of returns if the all conditions are true. Otherwise it returns false. We will give here some conditions to evaluate series of conditions. If all conditions are true, it will return true. Otherwise, it will. If any of the condition is false, it will return false. Okay, we will see the example for all either.
Okay.
If you know
Okay.
when
Okay.
we already saw in the component rules, we haven't seen the when.
Compare one somewhere you use it.
Use this when.
But we can go once again, right? When use most frequently, right?
We'll see member when member either all.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Sure.
So then the remaining functions very less. Okay, here the most important are unique. Okay, here we will see all. We'll see already not mean choose. We already saw the choose function. DB lookup, DB query during DB. Then extract we will see. Get and set we will see. Get directly, get file name we will see. Get partition, get resource name we won't use. Index we already saw. Index absolute also we won't use. But I tell the what is the meaning. Error code error is will see. Lookup will see. Will the mostly is here lookup, extract, unique,
Okay.
lookup
That's a main function.
mainly user function. Lookup, extract, unique. And
And search is not yes.
yep,
Search.
we will see. I'll tell you the meaning. Even if search up, search down also most efficient. Rather than lookup, we can use search up and search down. This is the it will
Okay.
take less time compared to lookup. But there is some
Okay.
kind of condition to use this function. You can't always use instead of lookup. You can't always use data should be
Okay.
ascending order. Then only you can use search up. Data should be in this. You can use search down. But it will take less time compared to lookup. If the data is
Okay.
coming in the sorting order, you can use this. It will take less time. And then sorter to sort the data. We will see this example. So tomorrow we will cover either function, mm, either functions. Then what is that? Either member when
Mhm.
remaining function you can go through the small
Yeah.
example.
Yeah. Yeah. Mhm.
Lower number and all. Then we will
Mhm.
tomorrow continue. Okay.
Okay. Lookup thing is important, right?
Yeah,
Lookup
lookup,
function is
extract,
important.
unique. These are very important. Almost
Yeah. Yeah.
every map will use these functions.
Okay. 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 Okay.
And okay, Sony.
Yeah. Sure. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I'll send you recorded.